Alrighty, you guys. So, we've got a cool little package to open here. So, alright, so I know I say this probably all the time, but this video is definitely going to be different than a lot of the ones that I normally film. Because this one's a question that I've been asked for like the last 5 years, and I've really never told the story. This whole video is the outcome of over 100,000 people at this point clicking on my videos and enjoying them and watching them. So, for that, I appreciate the heck out of it, and we're going to get right into this. So, the first thing I want to start off with is this guy. This is a piece that my buddy Josh made. He knew I was getting close to 100,000 subs. He was like, dude, send me your logo. I want to make something cool for you for 100,000 subs, and this is what he came up with. So this is actually, I'm embarrassed that I forgot the types of wood, but I think there's two different types of woods here, and he actually burned my logo into the piece of wood, and it's like a display piece, so I can basically put eyelets on it and hang it like a sign. I haven't figured out quite how I want to display this. It's not a cutting board. It's not stained or sealed to be a cutting board. It's not the type of wood you would use for that either, but that is one of the most incredible pieces that anyone's made for me. So massive thank you to my good friend Josh. I appreciate the hell out of that. That is just something else. Look how thick that thing is. It's like almost 2 inches thick. And I appreciate all of you guys that were so stoked on the merch drop. We pretty much sold out of all the sizes. We have some miscellaneous small, mediums, and larges. Probably the most amount of larges, surprisingly. So if you haven't got a large shirt, I'll put the tag up. Definitely go grab yourself a shirt, which I'm wearing coincidentally right now before they sell out. All right. So this is kind of a cool video for me because this is something that I personally have worked on every single day of my life for the last at least 5 years consecutively, and I never quite thought I would make it this far, and the fact that I have is still just mind-boggling to me. And I appreciated every single one of you for the support that have been here since like 1,000 subs. You know, this is the reason that I'm still here today doing what I'm doing. So I'm stoked that I'm still making videos and here for you guys to make cool stuff. You guys are still enjoying it. You guys are still sticking around. And this is really what comes from this. So for those of you guys who don't know what this is like the top like 1% of YouTubers even manage to get this in my hand. And then there's only, I think, two more from here that you can physically get. And this is a YouTube play button. So what this is, when you reach 100,000 subscribers, you get a silver play button, and then when you reach 1 million, you get a gold play button, and then I think it's 10 million, you get a diamond play button. You not only have to reach 100,000, million, and 10 million, but you have to be manually approved by YouTube to even receive this. So your channel has to be approved by them, that you're not crazy, you're not just some machine, you're not just some TV series or something weird. Like, it has to be real people, real subscribers, real, and I think we're about as real as it gets here. So I'm gonna open this. This is gonna be super special to me, so we're gonna go ahead and unbox this thing, and then I'm gonna tell you guys actually what the 909 in my name means and how we actually got started here doing what we're doing. So let's get right into it. So I'm gonna scoot a little closer to you guys so you can see everything. So I cut my arm off. Okay, oh, missed one. Okay, so, oh boy. Oh my. The packaging is really crazy on these. That is crazy. Just I'm still blown away. I'm even opening this. It's insane. So here's the card right here. It says, congratulations on your subscriber milestone. We're honored to take part in recognizing your achievement and want to your experience to be exceptional. This package was inspected and packaged with great care by Rick. Thank you, Rick. I appreciate it. Oh my God. This is, I don't know why. This is like the craziest thing I'm holding in my hand. It feels like jewelry at this point. So this is the letter that YouTube sends to you when you get one of these, which I am blown away. I'm even holding in my hand. The paper feels like it's worth more than my truck. Do you remember your first subscriber, your 100th, your 1,000th? Chances are you do, and we definitely remember your 100,000th subscriber. Your fans may have found you while researching YouTube, learned about you through a friend, or maybe you showed up in a recommended video. No matter how they came to your channel, fans stayed and their numbers increased because of your unique voice and the excitement for being part of a growing community that you established. We are thrilled to recognize the development of your community and so proud to honor your impressive milestone of reaching 100,000 subscribers with the Silver Creator Award. Congratulations. We know that you may have many more stories to share with your community, and we know your fans can't wait for you to encourage and amaze them with even more commitment and creativity. So keep creating, keep building. We can't wait to see what you'll do next, and we're here to support you along the way. And who knows, when you reach your 1,000,000th subscriber, we may have to just write you and ask, do you remember your 100,000th subscriber? Yours sincerely, Susan Wachich. I don't know the last name of the CEO of YouTube, but that's a really cool piece right there. It's like almost like shaking holding it because I still don't like believe that I made it this far. It's crazy to me. But just get a load of that. That is crazy. So let's go ahead and pull this thing out. Would it really be one of my videos if we didn't have a toolbox in it? Oh wow. Okay, I really do not want to touch this with my bare hands because I will never get the fingerprints off. So I'm gonna try to hold it so you guys can see it. That is so cool. This is like the coolest thing I've ever gotten in my life. Oh my gosh. That is insane to me. Oh my God. All right, well, there you have it. That is just, I don't even know, like, it's weird looking at this. Like I keep saying, it's hard to put into words when you get something like this. When you've worked for something for so many years and seen so many other creators get the same thing, and you're just like, one day I'm gonna get it, but you still have this thought process that you just won't make it. It's just like the never-ending road. You don't know where the end of it is, and it's just like, finally, we've reached that threshold, and it's like, I still feel like I have plenty more YouTube-esque in me, so we're gonna keep on going. You know, this is, I like to say it's just the beginning. I don't even think we're at a halfway point with what we're doing here, and it's motivating and cool to see that we're still growing at a consistent pace, and the sky's the limit, really. So that's really awesome. That's all from you guys, so I appreciate it a bunch from the bottom of my heart. It's just something cool to see. I'll put that on my wall for the rest of my life and remember. Even if I was to stop YouTube tomorrow, it was something that I could look at and be like, I achieved that, and barely anybody gets to this state, so it's something cool for sure. But yeah, thank you guys a bunch. All right, well, so that was a little weird. It's just weird. It's hard to explain in an entertaining fashion to you guys how I'm feeling right now, so I hope you guys can understand that. But I started this YouTube channel to document things on my truck, so I could look back in 40 years and look at the pictures and videos of my truck when I got it in high school. This was the first vehicle I ever got, so I drove this thing in high school with a 3 on the tree and everything. But before we get into that, I just wanted to thank you guys a bunch from the bottom of my heart. You guys that are rocking the merchandise, subscribing, commenting. I see the same commenters on every single video. I see the same guys liking the videos the minutes they come out. I see you guys. You guys may not think I do. I read all the comments, I see everything. It's just so overwhelming trying to respond to some of them sometimes. So for those of you guys that do comment and like and share and do all that stuff, I really do appreciate it a bunch. And it's surreal to me that over 100,000 of you guys like the cars and the vehicles and the stuff that I've brought on the channel enough to click subscribe and to comment and like and do all that stuff. I think I've had 14 different vehicles on this channel alone, which is crazy just to think about how many vehicles we've gone through to get where we're at now. And I think we're sitting at like 5 or 6 vehicles or something like that. I don't even like counting. It's kind of weird to count it, but this one's never leaving. This one's the first one. So I wanted to kind of go over the username that I have, the Craig 909, what it is and why it's there. It's actually kind of funny, a little like middle school, high school kind of story, and it actually has nothing to do with the number 909 area code, which is probably the biggest misconception and comment I get. So let's get into it. So I started doing YouTube realistically in like 2017 at the end of my senior year of high school. Me and my cousin Michael, who's about horsepower on YouTube, we filmed a couple of videos. We still do all the time. He has a YouTube channel as well, but we basically were sitting in my garage one day. He has a 69 sports roof Mustang and I had my 71 F100 short bed behind me. We basically had our little iPod 4s, I think is what they were at the time, and we had all our pictures and videos on those because the phones back then kind of sucked. 2016, I think, realistically, I didn't have that crazy of a phone. I think the iPhone 5 just came out, I think, is when that was coming out. So I didn't really have any crazy technology. I didn't have a crazy iPhone until I think sophomore or junior year, I think was my first iPhone. But yeah, you kids nowadays wouldn't know what that's like, having a phone that slides with a keyboard on it, but or a flip phone for that matter. But anyways, we had all these pictures and videos on our camera roll, and we wanted to put together a video and just put it on YouTube and see what it did. So we had all the photos and videos of us getting our vehicles that had been sitting for years on the road for the first time, and it was back when you could just download like iMovie or Splice or whatever it was, put some little crappy video together and press on the camera roll, slide up and hit share and actually click YouTube and upload it from your camera roll. Nobody does that anymore. That is not a thing that anyone does that I'm aware of. I don't think anyone uploads from their phone anymore. I could be wrong, but I've never done that. We did that. That was like, I think late 20 or early 2017, if I had to guess. And then basically from there, I'd made a couple. I wanted my channel to be kind of BMX, scooter, skateboard, whatever I was into, bikes, I think a little bit, whatever I was into at the time. So I basically took it from there and just kind of uploaded in whatever I was into in high school, which was a little bit of everything. I was always outside. I wasn't really much of a gamer, still am, not really. I don't have enough time for it. So I was always outside doing anything with wheels, RC car related, bikes, scooters, skateboards, whatever I was into, literally anything, dirt bikes. So I started, but I was primarily cars. It was supposed to be like a car channel. I think my biggest inspiration at the time was a channel, almost a mirror image of Adam LZ. I figured I was very very relatable to him. I was very close in personality to him. He was going to school, doing car stuff outside of it. He was going for engineering at the time, but I'm an engineering student, so it was just everything kind of lined up in the way that he made his stuff. So I wanted to kind of just try doing what he does. But I unfortunately am not a professional BMX rider, so that kind of fizzled out pretty quickly, and I realized that the bike videos don't get nearly as many views as the car stuff, which he eventually realized as well. So I kind of shifted my channel to full car stuff. So I basically filmed a bunch of videos of this. I bought my first project truck, which was a totaled 1967, I believe, or it was a 69 F250, just like a long bed pre-runner, which I originally pulled the gauges for this truck out of. That's the entire reason I bought it. I had bought that truck, made my first like quote unquote build series out of it, which was nothing more than me showing the truck, walking around it 800 times with a GoPro with no mic, shaking the crud out of the camera with really cringy music behind it, and then tearing it all down and selling it, parting it out, making money that way, and not making any money on the videos. I didn't think I made any money on the videos in like the first 2 years. So if you're starting a YouTube channel, you will not make a dime for the first at least year. I was one of those kids that would always go to different events and do different car things, that I was always like, man, this is so cool. Why isn't anybody taking a video or a photo of this and making something out of it so we can rewatch it? I mean, there's over 400 videos on my channel at this point now, and I can go back and rewatch things that I was doing in 2018 that I don't even remember. So we had started doing this, and I was working on this. This was an original 302 3 on the tree truck, bone stock. We got this thing for $3,800 back when you could get a short bid for that. It has the original factory numbers matching 302 engine still in it. It had a blown up radiator. It barely started. It still had the original everything basically on it. It was pretty smashed up and beat up. Some of the body panels didn't match, which we kind of worked with, and we basically taken the truck home and started tearing into it, which was where I wanted to document from basically start to where we are now, which is what I've been doing. So if you go back, way back in my YouTube channel, you can actually find the first start and drive of this truck, which is all the photos and the video that I just told you about with Michael. That video is still there, and it has like 50,000 views or something like that now. And it shows this exact truck when I got it in high school, and me and my dad putting it together to get it to run and drive. And then I just took it and absolutely snowballed it into that. So that happened. But yeah, so I was always a big hot rodder guy. I kind of had some influence off of my uncle, who was a hot rodder, and my grandfather was kind of a, I wouldn't say purist, but he was a big Ford guy and had a red 39 Ford pickup truck, which I filmed, I think, about a month or two ago, maybe a little more, at a truck show. That truck was in my sister's wedding, and it's still in our family. My grandfather and my uncle spent 10 years restoring that truck. I rode in it when I was 3 years old, and unfortunately my grandfather's not around, but I'd like to think that he would be very proud with the collection of cars that I've acquired over the years. But yeah, I had this influence and I wanted to build cars, so I went ahead and basically took it and started doing little modifications. And the first thing I wanted to do to this thing, like every high schooler, was cut the exhaust off of it, which I found in my Marty report later, that this thing had a factory noise canceling exhaust. How ironic. Which I later cut off and then put long tubes on it before I even had an exhaust built. So I was driving this thing around my high school for 2 weeks around my town with straight open headers, and that was the slowest gutless 2-barrel 302 on the planet, a truck motor, like 8-to-1 truck motor, which I eventually drove to my high school and filmed the open header video that you guys all now probably have subscribed from me for. That thing has, I think, like 1.1 or 1.2 million views at this point, and that was where I realized that YouTube really can be something. Once you get a viral video, it changes your perspective on YouTube. So I had worked at a Little Caesars like every, crappy high school job, made pizzas, which I'd learned a lot about, but I hated the clock in, clock out style job. I didn't like looking at a clock and being like, I have to do nothing for the next 10 minutes because I'm here. I don't like that mentality. I'd rather be efficient. I had caught my break, and when I was at work, I would always talk with my coworker and look at it and be like, hey, look, like my video's at 6,000 views. That's crazy, at the time. That's a lot for someone with, 800, 900 subs. So we would see this number, and this video, this open header video, would go 6,000. Then 2 more days it'd be at 16,000, and then it was at 30,000, and then it was at 60,000 within like a week. And I was like, whoa, dude, this is crazy. So we just kept watching it and watching it. In the span of, I think, 3 months, it went from like 10,000 or 1,000 views to over 500,000. And I think it caught up to like 700,000 pretty quick. I think it capped out around 800,000, and then it started exponentially going up to about 800,000, and then it kind of leveled off. That was within the span of, I think, about a month. It went to like 800,000 or something crazy like that. I don't remember the time frame, but my subscriber count kept consecutively going higher and higher as I was watching the video grow, which was crazy to me, how exponentially quick you could grow a channel. And then after that, I was like, dude, I gotta start making some videos. So I just started doing stuff with the truck, putting a 4-barrel on it, putting a distributor on it, doing all of the things that as a high schooler or young kid would do to try to get horsepower out of this thing. And a lot of it, I was very adamant that I was documenting me doing it. I wasn't showing you how to do it. I'm some dumb high schooler that doesn't know how to put a carburetor together. But I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna show people, and hopefully they enjoy it, which you guys did. I was self-taught. I had inspiration from my grandfather and my uncle, but I don't live in a car family necessarily. But my dad and my mom are not car people at all. Sorry to them for actually trashing your house with car stuff, but it'll be worth it one day. I would tear my truck apart every day after school, rip it apart, and then not be able to drive it to school. And I went to high school with Sean. I've known Sean since kindergarten, who's in all the videos, and he would have to drive me in his Jeep Liberty he had at the time to school. We'd come back home, get the truck running so I could drive it to school the next day. But in this time frame, I was using a GoPro 3 to film all these YouTube videos, and I was trying to make videos, trying to, you know, I would walk around, I'd be the guy with a camera in this group setting, and everyone would be staring at me like I'm an idiot holding the camera, you know, this little cube up high trying to film myself, and I wasn't great at the time. I'm a lot better now, I'd like to think, but at the time I wasn't really great at it. But I had made these videos that were really good in my eyes. I wanted to make the best stuff that I could, and even if it only got 700 views or 70 views even in some cases, but when I had one video where it would go to 7,000 when I'm consistently getting 700, that was a big push, and that was motivating. And I just kept doing that over and over and over, and that's where we end up now. So the one thing I need to dive into this video before we go crazy tangent on the story of all this stuff is where does 909 come from? That's probably the biggest question I've gotten asked, and it doesn't really have a clear answer on my YouTube channel, so I apologize for that. But 909 has nothing to do with the area code. That was actually something when I was in 2nd grade with my best friend at the time, Zach. We used to always go ride scooters, dirt bikes, skateboards, bikes, whatever we could. I was always at his house all the time, and we always would have, you know, like little kids would put their dirt bike number on like their scooter, skateboard, bike, whatever. Even the RC cars had the number that the kid was associated with. He always had a number. Like, we're really into motocross, so we always had our own number. We put our number on everything. His number was 915, which is really cool because I looked up to him because on September 15th, when he was, I believe, 2 years old, he had a heart transplant. So that's where the 915 comes from for his number. And I mean, this dude's got the scar all the way down his chest, and it's a gnarly scar. And in 2nd grade, when your best friend has this, you know, humongous scar down his chest, and he's walking, talking, and you could see all the battle scars, and you've seen what the dude's been through. And for a young kid, that was huge to me, that I was like, dude, this kid is crazy. This is my hero, you know? In fact, he's even like doing what he's doing is absolutely crazy. So I wanted to be cool like Zach, and I made my number 909. I wanted to be something close. We had basically put that together. We thought that number was cool. We were making bands with it. We had like 915, 909 bands. We had handshakes. We had all sorts of cool stuff. I still do talk to Zach to this day occasionally. I know you guys are probably wondering that. He hasn't been in a video from my knowledge, but we do still talk. But yeah, that was substantial to me. So when I started my YouTube channel, I was probably 12 years old, and I typed in Craig because it asked for your username, what you want your username to be. I typed in Craig, and it said that is taken. And I said, who in the absolute world else is named Quag? That is absolutely insane. So I was really pissed off. So I typed in Craig 909. And that was taken too. And then that was back when it used to say, that username is taken. Why don't you try this? And so it said the Craig 909. Because it would put the or Mr. or him in front of every single word that you could possibly put in if it was taken. So I had typed in Craig, it was taken, 909. I don't know where Craig 909 would have been taken at the time, but it was. And so YouTube has suggested me the Craig 909. And I was like, whatever, that works, I'll take it. And I never changed it. So I have this really cringy name that I made when I was like 12. And I can't change it now. Everyone knows me for it. So we kept it, and that's really where that number comes from. But yeah, you know, I don't want to make this a 30-minute video of me talking. It's cool to see all the support. I've just kind of basically from there, while I was in school, I was working at Little Caesars. I wanted to just kind of quit that job, so I had taken that wrecked 69 F100 or F250 pre-runner, parted it out. I had made like 20 cents on the videos, and then I had sold the truck, and I think I bought it for 400 bucks, took the parts that I wanted, and then pulled like 16 or 1800 bucks out of that truck. Went and bought the green 75 F250 that you guys have all seen, paid 1600 for that, so I was still 200 bucks up. I had basically cleaned up, spray painted a bunch of stuff. I'd already had nice tires. It ran pretty good. I rebuilt the carburetor. Basically cleaned that truck up the best that I was able to at the time, being I was only 17, I think, when I bought that. And then I'd sold that truck for $4,000. I bought my C10 for $2,000. And then I had basically built that truck up. I kind of like fully restored that truck. That was the first truck I painted. I did a bunch of work to that, but I only really had like 3,500 bucks into it because I was sandpaper and spray paint king in that situation. I think I had a $750 paint job on it, which was all I could afford because I was like sandpaper and spray paint king. I sanded and spray painted everything on that truck. The whole cage, floor, fuel cell, anything that could be painted, I painted. I didn't care because it made it look better. So I was very nitty gritty on the details, and I spray painted everything but the body of the truck. I even primered the truck with rattle can primer and then had it actually painted. But that truck's still kicking around. I think it's up in Orange County now. Some dude rips it around, which is pretty rad. It's still being used. And then I sold that truck for $8,000. I actually got full asking price for that truck, which is crazy. And then from there, I honestly don't recall what I bought. I bought a 71 F-250 that was absolutely destroyed in that time span. And then I thought having 3 cars at once was absolutely insane. And now look at me. I wish I only had 3 cars. I think I bought the Galaxy around 2018, 2019. And that car absolutely ruined me. That car put me in my hole. You can see the cars still aren't done. They are the hardest cars I've ever had to work on, because I bought that red Galaxy by the ocean. It was a rusty piece of junk. The motor was assembled incorrectly. Transmission was assembled incorrectly. The car was put together by somebody that doesn't know how to work on cars. It had pipe fittings all over the fuel system, on the fender. The wiring was horrible. The motor was junk. So I basically had to rebuild that car from scratch. So that car taught me how to pull an engine, how to do wiring work, how to do sheet metal. You guys have seen how much sheet metal work I've done on those cars. And then I had bought the white one as a parts car. So now, fast forwarding, we're basically at this point now where I've bought a bunch of cars, but now we're really focusing on the 2 Galaxies, which I bought the white one as a parts car, didn't use almost anything off of it, and now I'm just kind of building both of them. So I'm gonna sell one of them, make one of them really, really pretty for me, and do a cool build with it. But yeah, that's kind of where we are now. That's the short version of it. I mean, I could talk with somebody for hours about how I got to where I am now. But if you're under 18 years old, or you're still in high school or even in college and you don't want to work at Target or a food store, all you really have to do is just buy a cheap car, which is hard in this market, I get it, but we used to be able to drive vehicles home for $500 and flip them for $3 grand all the time. So I did that in high school because with a can of spray paint and a carb rebuild kit, you can do a lot. So I would just do that, make a bunch more money than all my friends at the time, and then I was doing YouTube, trying to make a little bit off of that. But the biggest money maker for me in high school and early college was flipping cars, because when you're in high school and you get $4,000, it's a lot of money, especially in the middle of where I live, in the middle of nowhere. So it's pretty cool to have that. So I definitely worked for it, and I worked for free for many years to get where I am. And I'm glad that now I'm to a point where I have as many cars, as many successful things that I do, and it's really cool to see. So I'm super stoked about it all. I can't thank you guys enough. Sorry if there's a lot of talk in this video, but I hope it answers a bunch of your guys' questions, inspires you guys to get out and do your own thing. But with that being said, thank you guys a ton for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye, guys.